Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm showing off this G1 Astrotrain that I built out of Lego. So I guess that here he is in his vehicle mode, and it's probably one of my favorite vehicle modes I've ever done. I guess it's a space shuttle, and I really like how clean it is. I like how everything's mostly tiled off. Now the only real exposed studs here are just these four in the middle and these two on each side, which I'm pretty happy with. And I also really like how all the shaping looks, where it looks kind of cartoony. I like how all the blockiness comes together. But yeah, I guess that here's a view of the back. You can kind of see his head poking through the engines. I guess the issues I have with this are that there's kind of gaps in the sides. Like, if you see here, there's a gap that you can see through to the floor. But I think it's fun because you can't really see it from most angles unless you like actually look for it. So yeah. I also don't really like how the legs are kind of loose. Where if you put it down and you push down on it too much, it'll kind of break the sculpt. But I think it's fine if you just hold it from the back. Also, the nose cone's kind of loose, but I think it's fine. It's just kind of annoying to deal with. I think most of this just works fine if you just don't touch it. But yeah. Also, for weapons, he has his gun, so you could probably store this in this mode by just like pegging it onto here with this anti-stud going into the stud. But I probably won't do that just because I don't want to have to like take it off because it's kind of tricky. But yeah. For size comparisons, here he is with blast off. So there's both my space shuttles. As you can see, Astrotrain is probably the better space shuttle. But that's about it for his alt mode. It's pretty simple, but I think it's pretty effective as well. So yeah, also here it is from the bottom, so you can see all the anti-studs. But yeah, that's about it for Astrotrain's space shuttle mode. Alright, for transformation to train mode, the first thing that you want to do is just rotate in this tail fin up here. It's kind of loose, but it just kind of stays in there for both the other modes. And then after that, you just want to flip the whole thing upside down, and you're basically halfway there. After that, you want to rotate these two panels outward to the sides, and then split the whole cockpit section in half like this. After that, you want to take this panel in here that's kind of a filler piece and rotate it around to the other side. And then you want to rotate the nose cone outward so that the angle is facing downward. And then slide up this panel to sort of hold it in place. And then after that, you want to take this whole front section and break it, and then rotate it around on a stud. And that'll all compress together like that. After that, you want to take this whole front section and rotate it around again. And then rotate it, and then slide it forward on this bar, and then compress it, and rotate it down. And then also, actually after you do that, you want to take this brick up here from the boiler, and just rotate it inward. And hope it doesn't get caught. And then fold this down, and then that'll all compress into the rest of his body. A lot of parts on him are delicate, so they'll probably break throughout this review. After that, you want to rotate up this smokestack, and that's one half of his the boiler section of the train mode done. After that, for the other side, you basically just do the same thing but mirrored, so just rotate this section up, slide up the tile, rotate this section down, rotate it around, fold it down, and then rotate the whole thing around again, extend it outward, compress this clip, and then fold it down. And just make sure everything's lined up. And then after that, just rotate up these two panels to the bottom, and that'll create, I guess, the bottom of the train mode. So after that, for the wings, you just want to take these and rotate them upward a bit like that, and then rotate the whole thing down, or I guess like down halfway. But before you do that, you want to rotate this hinge down, and then rotate the wheels down to sort of create the facade that he has wheels. Sorry, these sections are also really delicate as well. But you basically just want to rotate them down and hope that they don't break. And then just rotate this section outward and fold it down, and then that'll all sit flush against the rest of the train. And then kind of compress that against the ground. Rotate the wing outward, rotate this section down on a hinge, and then rotate the wheels down and kind of hope that they don't break. And then rotate the whole side panel down and compress it, and then I guess that there is in his train mode. So here's Astrotrain in his train mode, and it's probably his worst mode. I really don't like all the anti-studs sticking out of the sides, just because the transformation is basically just flipping the space shuttle mode inside out. So it's kind of ugly, and also I don't like this giant gap in here. I had an earlier design where I filled in the gap with the panel, but it ended up making his thighs really thick, so I just got rid of it because it looked bad. But yeah. I think that the overall like shaping and silhouette look good, but just the colors, I guess that just some of the gaps and stuff, and just some of the bits of the design don't look very great. I like how this back canopy section kind of makes the back section of the train mode not look as bad, but I think that this whole middle section could use some work. But I don't really know how I could do that without making it a shell former, which I'd rather not do because it'd end up making both modes have a lot of kibble. But yeah. Also, I think the front section should be more of a circle, but I couldn't get it in because of the engineering for the cockpit to work. But he still has a smokestack, so I guess that makes it fine. But yeah. I also like how all the wheels line up. I think that looks cool. You can also probably store this gun in this mode just by having him hold it in his hand, like this. I think it looks nice that way. It kind of adds to the industrial look of his train mode. With like the kind of pipe look to it, and I also like how the bars at the sides kind of add greebling to the train mode. I think they look a lot better in this mode than they do in the space shuttle mode. But I'm just gonna remove his gun. Also, for size comparisons, here he is with blast off again. So there's, I guess, a space shuttle and a space shuttle. But yeah, that's about it for his train mode. Alright, so to transform Astrotrain into his robot mode, the first thing that you want to do is basically just stand the whole thing up and fold these two panels back. His legs are really simple, that's basically the legs done. And then after that, for the wings, you just want to rotate them out and basically put them back into space shuttle mode, so just rotate them out, rotate these hinges back in, and then rotate the wheels back up. So smooth this all up like so, and kind of hope that it doesn't break. So rotate this back out, and then rotate this section up again. There's kind of clearance issues, but I think if you rotate it out more, it'll work better. But yeah, there's the wings done. After that, you want to slide out these clips, and then rotate them around about 180 degrees, and then rotate around these other joints so that the wings sit further back. And then do the same on the other side. So get your nail in here and slide this clip out. Rotate this section around, and then rotate around this hinge. And then, I guess that'll be his backpack mostly done, or I guess the silhouette of his backpack done. After that, you want to take this back cab section with the engines and slide up this canopy section, and then rotate this back section around a bit, all the way to the back, and then fold it down. But before you do that, you also want to rotate around the other half of it, like this, and then slide out this middle engine and rotate it around on a stud. It's not attached very well, but it works if you just hold it tight enough. And then just slide this back in, and then rotate it down, and then fold down the canopy, and that'll be his backpack. So I guess that now it can stand. So after that, for his arms, you just want to rotate them outward and make sure that they don't get caught on anything, and then slide them out a bit. Rotate down the shoulders on these old techniques that I've used for like 3 years now, and then bend the elbow, and then there's one arm done. It works just like the G1 toy. So do the same on the other side, so rotate this section out, slide out the shoulder on a bar, and then just kind of hope that the chest doesn't break. So slide out the shoulder, and then rotate down the shoulder. This whole top section of him is really delicate. So just rotate this section down. Then I guess that there he is in his robot mode, so you can just spread out his legs a bit. Then there's Astrotrain in his robot mode. So here's Astrotrain in his robot mode, and similar to his space shuttle mode, it's probably one of my favorites. I'm really happy with how all of his detailing looks, where it's all mostly clean. Even though most of the detailing here is carried over from the space shuttle mode, mainly just the chest and the legs. But he does have some new detailing, like his arms and his shoulders, which I like the shoulder technique where it kind of adds detail to it. But yeah, I guess from the back it's not as clean. There's a lot more anti-studs and kibble, but I think that it's mostly managed pretty well, because from the side he doesn't have a very bulky silhouette. But yeah, in one of my earlier designs, his backpack was a lot higher, where it like stuck out behind his head a lot more, and it stuck out from his back a lot more. So I'm pretty happy with how flush it is against the back. Even though it's not at like a complete 90-degree angle, it's kind of angled in a bit more, but I'm still pretty happy with it. But yeah, originally I was trying to make him look like I guess the Mech Fans toys or the G1 design, but He ended up looking a bit more like the Fans Toys one, with the larger chest. For articulation, or I guess for his weapon, here's his gun. You can just hold it like he did in his train mode. So just clip it in his hand and make sure that, hope it doesn't break. So there's Astrotrain with a gun. And then for articulation, his head can rotate on a stud. The shoulders could probably rotate on these transformation joints, but they can rotate on these bars here, and they can also rotate in and out about 9 degrees. The elbows can bend 9 degrees. The wings could probably rotate up and down on these two joints from their transformation, but I'm not going to use them. But they could also rotate up and down about 90 degrees on these joints, and then also in and out. You could probably have a waist rotation, but the backpack and this tail fin get in the way of it. The hips can kick forward 9 degrees. They can kick back about a bit less because of the kibble. The thighs can kick outward a lot. They can swivel, which I'm really happy with. The knees can bend 9 degrees, but they're kind of limited by the nose cone. And then nothing at the feet because it doesn't actually have any. But that's kind of an issue, but I think it's kind of made up for by these side panels, which can kind of act as heel spurs. But yeah, he has a decent amount of articulation. I'm really happy with it. For size comparisons, here he is with Blastoff. So there's both my space shuttles and their robot modes. I like how he's a lot taller than Blastoff, where he kind of towers over him, so it kind of makes him a lot bigger than normal Transformers. But yeah, I guess that's about it for Astrotrain's robot mode. But I guess that's about it for Astrotrain. Out of all my Transformers, he's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I'm really happy with all of his articulation and detailing, and all of his modes, even though his train mode's kind of half-assed, but yeah, he's probably my favorite. I guess that if you want to see more from me, or just more builds that I do, just check out my Instagram. I'll probably link that in my channel description and also in this video description. So I guess just follow that if you want to see more from me. I post a lot more there than I do here. So, yeah, I guess that's about it for this video. Bye.